Hey folks, welcome to the channel. Today we're back in the Budget by Paycheck Workbook. We're going to be going over the third week of September. I do have this wonderful pumpkin I wanted to show. When Rachel and I went to the Sunflower Festival, she picked this up for me. She got one too, but she got one that was a little bit different color. So I just wanted to showcase that. I think it's so cool. Very festive. So let's just grab our glasses and get right to it. All right. So let's go into the right month first. So this week has been pretty busy. I did have quite a bit going on, numerous bills, and I also got a payday. So I'll be closing out the first paycheck of the month in addition to going over what is happening with the second paycheck. Now, this month looks a little bit messy because, as you may or may not know, I did secure a home equity line of credit. And I also, when I had the folks coming out to check out the stairwell that's collapsing, the engineers offered a 0% interest rate. So I went ahead and got that because it was ultimately going to cost me less money. And even though I had to pay closing and costs and stuff on the HELOC, I don't feel like it was a waste of money because I still need that to cover the other expenses that I'm going to do around the house. Just get things in order that I've been putting off. So right now the HELOC has $4,400 as a balance, and that is the amount of the closing costs plus the amount that I transferred from the U.S. bank credit card, which has a higher rate, so transferring it ultimately saves me money. The Green Sky 0% card, that has a balance of $1,700, a little bit more than $1,700, because the engineering company required a deposit. I won't have to charge the rest of it until November, which is when they're scheduled to come out to work on the stairwell. Hopefully I'll be able to, pay off that $1,700 before they get here. So, just make it a little bit easier to get all of this. Actually, no. I keep forgetting that I'm only going to pay the minimum amount on this because it's interest free. I would be better served to go ahead and, if I was going to put an extra $400 on this, to put it in the HELOC, because this HELOC is costing me interest. It's accruing interest as I hold the balance. So I can just get myself confused sometimes. So again, busy week. So I'm going to just go ahead and start getting into the details. So this is the closeout for the first paycheck. And as a reminder, I was paid August 29th, and that covered the first a little more than 2 weeks of the month. I did transfer like $900 and some to help pay for all of these bills because I was afraid that I was not going to have enough funds, and some of these things that hit around the 15th, which is typically when I get paid, but I didn't get paid till the 16th this month. I was afraid these were going to pull and I was not going to have enough money. And interestingly enough, the same thing is going to happen next month. So I'm going to have to account for that in my budgeting. So the HELOC did disperse, but I put almost all of it back here. The amount that I didn't put back into the HELOC is again the amount that was the closing costs, and I went ahead and, as you can see, I paid off that U.S. bank because I would have a better rate with the HELOC than I did with U.S. bank. I had the typical sync that came out the first of every month. I have $50 that transfers over. It's been transferring like that for I don't even know how many years. But as you can see, there were a lot of expenses that came out. I mean, it was almost as much, just my fixed normal bills was almost as much as my full paycheck. The water did not pull until after the second paycheck, but other than that, all of the others, they all came out. So I was really glad that I went ahead and prepared for that. And it also makes me think I definitely need to prepare for that next month too. Although, to be fair, I'm pretty sure the season ticket didn't come out until the paycheck too. Well, in any case, I was glad I was prepared for it. As I've been saying repeatedly, I have way over budget on food. $500 in food. What's wrong with me? I think I'm stress eating, maybe. Who can say? I also had a little overage on the pet care because the cats had to go to the vet to get that second feline leukemia shot. I'm not going to say key lime leukemia shot again, which I knew was coming up. I just hadn't really fully prepared for it, but I knew it was coming. So I went ahead and got that taken care of. And I've done a little bit of research on the their NexGard because I wasn't doing the NexGard because they're indoor cats. They don't go outside. There's no reason for them to worry about fleas or other parasites that may enter their body. But because we have another cat coming in, I just felt like it was prudent, since this cat is typically an outdoor cat, to go ahead and start covering them for these things that they may be exposed to. So I went into Chewy. So the vet charged $36.25 per dose. So both of the cats got one. I went into Chewy, and Chewy has if you set it up in auto ship, which I have auto ship for their food too. And I do check that every now and then to make sure that the price of the food that I'm getting, and I don't get them cheap food. I get them like I think it's Nulo, and there's also is it Mike's or Dave's? Now I can't remember. Well, anyway, they're food that's highly rated, that is it's not like inexpensive foods, but I do check like locally and just really locally, and look at the prices for the same items, and they are definitely cheaper on Chewy than they are in the stores. The other thing is I have had their litter shipped, but I just feel like I can get it cheaper at Sam's. The litter there is pretty decent. It's their brand, I think, and I think it works pretty good. Yeah, it tracks a little bit, and it is a little bit dusty, but you know what? If I'm saving, $10 or $15 a month, and I just have to sweep more often, it's no big deal. So back to the NexGard. So the vet would charge 36 and a quarter each cat every month. If I get Chewy and I do the auto ship, it's 100. Well, actually, hold on. For a 6-month pack, so it's 6 different doses. It's $347.98. But the first one, they give me a discount, and that discount is $317.98. So the very first dose was $317.98, and then subsequent to that, I would be paying $37. And I'm trying to get, for some reason, my mouse doesn't want to work. Oh, there it is. So I'm just trying to $347.98. Oops. 347.98. Sorry, I should have done this math before we got on the recording. Divided by 6. Divided by 2 divided by 6. So that is actually 347.98 is for 2 cats. So that comes up to 28.99, which is actually more than the every 3 months dose, because when I did the math for the every 3 months, it was $27.55 per dose. So I'm probably going to switch it from the 6-month to the 3-month. Yeah. So that's like a $10 savings per cat every single month. That's a huge difference. I do like my vets, but I don't want to give them $20 every month if I don't need to. So I am going to go ahead and set that up. But unfortunately, my vet, I guess for whatever reason, Chewy won't take a email or fax from them. I have to mail in the prescription. So I'll have to go next week and get the physical prescription for each of the cats, mail it in, and then I'll set up the 3 months. And I need to make myself a note. Do 3 months cheaper. So I'll set that up, and I'll figure out how to set up I think I'll do it in YNAB, is to set up a reminder that every 3 months, because you can do that in YNAB, that we'll have this, I think it was 165.29. 165.29. So I'll go ahead and set that up, and then I'll just, every month I'll put a little bit in to cover that 165 when it pulls, because it'll be automatic and it'll come right out of my paycheck. Or not my paycheck, it'll come right out of my checking account. Thank you. So that was my distraction there, is to get the pet care. So that was over personal care. I think that was when I went to the Sunflower Festival. Household, lots of overspending on that, but I've had to get cleaning supplies and just laundry stuff. It's just been one thing after another, and I went to BJ's again and picked up some more cleaning supplies and hand soap and stuff like that. So that'll be for the next paycheck. Let's see. So I explained what's going on here. And then I did just forward a little bit over, not that I really needed it for the second paycheck because I don't have a lot of bills going on this time. So that closes out the first paycheck. Everything went fine, mainly because I was prepared. Now, this is the second paycheck, and I have actually started sinking funds again. And just hear me out. Like, you think about, who is it? Mel from Budgeting Over 40, I think. Her word of the year this year is balance, and she's absolutely right. You've got to balance your debt with the need to be prepared for the things that are going to come up. So, watching her struggles, and just, of course, feeling her pain, but, just listening to her, and yeah, she's right. So not just listening to her, but also knowing that I just need to start working on this a little bit. And after some feedback, talking to some of you guys, I think 10% is a good number. But there's a couple of caveats with that. So I have this here, and I am going to go ahead and put half the mortgage and half the Roth for next pay period. But I also need to think about some of those other things that I know are going to be in the first part of the month because I don't get paid until the 16th again next month. So maybe I'll have to put a little bit in for I think the other big expense would, pardon me, just got a tickle, yes, fall time, is the season tickets. So I might put half of that in there as well. The others I think are small enough. These ones, really all of these, I think are all small enough. And YNAB won't be pulled until a full year from now. So I think if I just add the season tickets in here as well, maybe half of it, I should be golden. I'm going to feel it out a little bit later, maybe next month or when I set up October, which I've started working on because I'll be doing a video for setting up September on the 22nd, which is Monday. Yeah, that's coming up real soon. So I'll flesh that out, and when we talk on Monday, I will tell you what I decide to do on that. Which means that the HELOC won't get like as much as I was hoping to put on that because it'll have to go towards shoring up what's happening in the first part of October. So I did receive a paycheck. I already have the internet bill pulled. These will pull out pretty soon. And I haven't turned on the heat yet, but you know it's coming. You know it's coming. There was a question why I don't turn on like the balance pay, and I do have the balance pay on my electric. They have that service, but my gas company for whatever reason does not offer that service to do that even it out over the year kind of situation. So it does get pretty high in the winter months, and we can go back and look at this and we can see, you know, it was a little bit higher. I don't know why February was so low. Who knows? Oh, you know what I bet happened? Sometimes I paid two bills in one month. It probably was that I didn't have it was a gas bill. I probably didn't have a gas bill this month. Two of them probably hit somewhere here. Who knows? But as you can see, it does change a little bit during the cold months. I don't remember what it was in November and December of last year, but you can see it is pretty high because March would have been paying for February, right? It's kind of a month behind. So it does get a little bit more expensive. So I'll just start to adjust this gas bill up once I turn the heat on. I just don't know how much. I'll have to maybe look at last year. I'll go on the website and see if I can find out what I paid a year ago. I did go ahead and put a little bit more in food because I have seen that I'm spending more. I don't anticipate having any health care, but who can say? Pet care, I will probably, oh yeah, I do have. I probably will have to buy, I'm trying to think, will I need to buy litter? I will, but it probably won't be until October, maybe. I think I'm just going to leave that there. Personal care, I put $20 just in case I needed something. Transportation, I have been making a lot of trips out to the next county over, so I am putting in $35 in case I need to fill up again. And I put in $50 for household because I keep coming up with things that I need. So I just want to cover that in case I need it. I didn't put anything in miscellaneous or gifting at this time. And then this was the breakdown for what I decided to do for my sinking funds. Because Christmas is coming up, the bulk of it is going, or well, not the bulk of it. I'm putting 115 into gifting, 110 into transportation, and I'm putting 110 into transportation because in December I need to take my car over and have an inspection, an oil change, and I'm reasonably certain they're going to tell me I need new tires. I don't know if I want to be proactive in that because I really don't want the dealership to do it. I have a car a place I go for the tires. So I don't know if I want to do that before I go have the inspection done, because I don't want to go around with a rejected sticker. It really doesn't matter though. If they reject it, you have a certain amount of time. But then I have to go back again. So I don't know. I'll sort it out in December. Right now, I can't add one more thing to think about. Pet care, I'm putting in $25, and I want to have a pet care sinking fund so that when they go to the vet, when we have our normal visits, there's $500 sitting there. And you can see over here, this is my goal, is to have $500. And that should cover most of the visits that they ever need, but you know, there could be cases where it's more than 500. But I think for right now, for young cats who don't have a lot of health problems, $500 should be adequate to cover those things. So this is not like counting for the next care. This is just for true, urgent, unexpected things. I'm going to plan for the other things, but this is just, yeah. So, and then I will be buying season tickets for my local hockey team again next year, and typically you have to pay for those in February or March, so I just need to start shoring that up. Now, one of the things that I want to mention is that the last amount for the payment plan that they set up for you, the very last one is in October. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue putting $150. I'm just going to round it up to 150. And in my savings, I am going to go ahead and add, excuse me, $150 every month. I'm going to continue with that amount because it's already baked into my budget so that I get this shored up by the time the 2026 tickets are due to be paid, and then I don't have to set up the payment plan. So that's the plan. And then we typically schedule our travel plans in January, so I'm trying to shore that up because if we decide on a place to stay, then I'll need a deposit in January of, you know, several $1,000s. So I'm trying to shore that up so that I am prepared for that when it comes. I do want to have $6,000 for travel in an account so that I can either share the burden of a rental home or pay for it outright if we get something small. Now, as I mentioned, because I know what's going on next month, I have allotted some money aside to help cover the costs. That will adjust everything down here because I did this today before I got on the recording. So this will be adjusted. It's probably going to be closer to, I don't know what that is. It looks like a mosquito got into the house. It'll probably be closer to 1,000. But I don't know whether or not I can actually pay this, and I'll explain why. Because you know how all these loan people do, right? It's like they get you to pay the closing costs and then they sell they sell it. That's just how the mortgage lenders do. That's what they do. That's what they do. It's how they make their money. It's how they run their business. So I just got a notice that my mortgage has been sold to a U.S. bank. So they said, continue making your payments. Don't pay the new people until you're notified. But the problem is, it's so ambiguous. It is I'm actually glad we're changing lenders because I have U.S. Bank already, and their website is much easier to understand. I'm just throwing that out there because some of the information I get says that the first payment is not due until October. And then I received another statement that said my next auto pay is $10 in October. But if I go to the website and I go into it on the dashboard, it says your next auto pay will be September for $404.93. And I'm like, okay, well, what's true? I don't know what's true here. So I have to be prepared for this auto pay, right? And the reason I have auto pay is because I get a discount on the interest rate by having this. It pays me to go ahead and keep this in auto. But I just need to be prepared for either $400, $10, or nothing. So I'm prepared for the most costly of those options. And it's possible that I won't even be able to pay this because it'll be in transition. So we'll just kind of have to feel this out as the month progresses. Here's my breakdown. I don't use this for breaking up my cash because I don't do cash envelopes. I've sort of kicked around the idea of having a personal fund that I drop, like instead of having this here, I just drop $20. I go grab $20 and put it in an envelope. Mainly because at some point I want to go ahead and start having my nails done. And, you know, it would be more than $20, but having the cash is, I just feel better than, going and doing cash at those places just is easier than using my card. So, and plus it would be more like a true sinking fund where every single paycheck I put $20 in it, and then it can build for when I do need a pair of jeans or whatever. So I'm sort of kicking around that. I don't know if I want to or not. So that's what that looks like, and the savings account is 418. So, and this here you can see that's where I transferred the $300 from the amount that we just talked about here. And this is just saying that this is where this is going to go. This is not like it's not been spent. It's just me noting that I need to have this available for the next pay period. Here are this is from the first paycheck, and I went ahead because it was so far at the bottom. I went ahead and actually continued it over to start the new paycheck. And as you can see, more food. Food's pretty. Yeah, food is pretty. It's just there. Have some utilities, household stuff, just some normal things. I did take Levi, my grandson. I was over at the house, and I just took Levi out to Dairy Queen and had some dinner with him over there. So yeah, that's it, not a whole lot that is unusual. I do need to slow down on the food, but whatever. Here's the breakdown of my debts that I currently have. U.S. Bank is paid in full at this time. I don't expect to have to charge anything to that. I'm trying to be very careful about it. But if I do charge it for whatever reason, I will pay it off right away. The HELOC has a minimum payment of $404, and even though at the beginning of the month it was $51,000, but because I paid part of it off, that balance is not that anymore. And I haven't paid anything on Green Sky because they're not requiring a payment until October. So I'm just not going to make a payment on this until such time as it's due, and it'll probably be $300 because the total amount that I'm going to put on Green Sky is $7,200. It's a little less than that, but that's close enough. And if you divide that by 2 years, it's $300 a month to pay it off by the time the balance is due. So I will likely put $300 on this when the time comes, because I think the minimum payment right now would be minimum. It would very small, because it would be like $17 or something like that, because I have 2 years to pay it off, and the balance is 1,700, so it'd be 24, so it'd be less than that. So I'll put these in when I figure out how much I'm going to put. I don't have anything in the net worth tracker, and because it's not the end of the month, I haven't done anything with this. So that puts us into what is happening next. So it is currently the 20th. Tomorrow I will have a You Need a Budget check-in. I'll just go over some of the expenses, maybe show how I did a split again at BJ's. And I had some feedback on some of those toolkits, and maybe go over a couple of toolkits that I was like saying, I don't know how this works. Um, but yeah, that will be tomorrow. And then I will go over October on Monday. So that should do it, and I will talk to you then.